We are James and Jennifer Boyd, owners of a tile and remodel company, as well as a home decor and gift boutique in North Carolina. Join us as we share home design and decor tips, as well as how-to tutorials as we work through some of our own projects at home. Hello, happy Tuesday.
Hey.
And welcome back.
Welcome back to the boutique.
So
we're not on location this evening.
We're not. So
but that was a lot of fun.
It was. A couple weeks ago we were at our house.
Yep.
Last week we were at a client's house.
Yep.
And now we're back in the boutique.
Back in the store.
And I was kind of giggling during the opening video because I did a little pan of a little bit of the space and it already looks different.
Oh, nothing's where it was this morning. Actually, right behind us, we made it sure it looks very nice.
Yeah.
But on that side of the camera,
it's
everything like furniture being assembled, stuff getting moved, pictures to be hung. There's a lot going on over there.
There is.
Wow.
So we'll talk a little bit more about that during live moments, I think.
Okay.
But how's everyone doing tonight? We've got Laura with us. I'm so glad you're here. Yeah.
Let us know how you're doing. We got Ashlyn in the chat room tonight.
Oh,
so
Laura got 2 lamps.
Laura got 2 lamps.
Yeah,
nice.
Great. I know which ones you got. I like those. I think they're really cute. They're really sweet.
Cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, we got Ashlyn's over here in the chat room with us tonight. I'm jumping back in there in just a second, so we'll be extra chatty tonight. So you know, post your comments, please.
Yeah.
Hi,
Joy.
Are we ready to get going with the show?
I think so.
All right, let's get going with the show.
Hi, Trish. Trish is with us too.
Awesome.
Yeah, and Ashlyn's with us. She is by James's side. She's helping with production and making sure everything goes smoothly. So, yes, we've got a good show built for you tonight. Tonight, we are talking about styling your spaces. So many of you come in with pictures of a table or a cabinet or a shelf, or you buy one here and you ask, well, now what do I do with it? Or you take a picture of one from home and say, well, what should I do with this? So tonight's show is going to be about bigger furniture pieces and then how to style them. A few little tips of the trade on what to do. And we'll also talk a little bit about what not to do. All right, let's get on. Ooh, stepped on my camera. Let's get on to our very first item. We have a beautiful accent table that I love. It's gorgeous. The finish on it is amazing, but let me tell you this way. When you're styling your home, don't be afraid to use color. Not everything needs to be neutral. Yes, I like to use neutrals too. I usually use neutrals for me at home, I've got neutrals in my sofa, my love seat, but then I bring color in other ways, like my pillows and tables and things. This is a gorgeous accent table that can be used. We finished it in a blue. However, this particular table is available in multiple finishes. It has this blue, light gray, a dark gray, a black, red, white, but don't be afraid to use some color with these pieces. This is a great piece for an accent next to a chair
or a bedside table. The reason I say that is I love the storage drawers that it has. It has 2 drawers for storing your remotes, your chargers, a pen and paper, whatever you need. This particular table is $1,059. It is custom finished and built and finished to order. So you do wait a little bit for this piece, and you spend a little more for this piece because it is custom done for you. Here we go. Dimensions are 25 wide by 17 deep by 29.5 high.
Great. So again, gorgeous cabinet, beautiful finish. I love the golden hardware against the gray blue. I just think it's so pretty. I love the brushed finish, so it's not like perfectly all one solid color. There's some variation there. I just think it's a really stunning piece. Hi, bestie. So good to see you here with us. That's awesome. But again, just a really, really pretty piece. This can be used anywhere. Nightside tables, I believe I said in the video, next to a sofa, next to a chair, next to a bedside. I already said that. I'm tired. But yes, I think it's a beautiful, beautiful piece. But when you get this piece at home, what do you do with it from there? Well, there's some styling tips that I want to share, but I believe I've got another little short clip for you that I'm talking a little more about the detail on this piece because it is available in multiple finishes, and I've got some information for you here.
We talked about this being in the blue finish. This is available in all of these additional finishes as well. And take a look. It does have some nice brush stroking to the finish. So it's not just a solid glossy paint. It does have a matte finish to it, and you can see those rubbed or stroked finish. So you're seeing some of the wood below. It has beautiful antique brass rings for pulls. I love the detail on the leg. The little bit of detail here on the front, that little curved piece just adds a little bit of style. And inside the drawers, they've even stained and finished the interior of those as well. So a lot of thought went into the finish of this. I think it's absolutely perfect and definitely makes a statement.
So thanks, George, for a comment about the sound. Yes, this time I was mic'd. I had a lapel mic, and I think that made a big difference. What do you think, James? On your side? James says good.
I'm sorry, I'm listening to the delayed version, so I just got that. James, that thumbs up.
James is giving it a thumbs up. So yeah, good. Yes.
And now I'm listening to myself saying I'm listening to the delayed version.
So I think that made a big difference. I'm really, really pleased with that. So again, those are all the details. But once you get this home, what can you do with it? Well, at the shop, we tend to overstyle things because we're trying to showcase not just the item, but a bunch of things that we have here. So the table as is that I'm going to show you is a bit overstyled. If you're using it as a nightside table or bedside table, but if you're using this as an accent table, kind of tucked away in a little corner, you'd want to add a few layers of interest. So here's what we did.
We talked about the style of the table itself, but let's talk about styling the top of the table. Now, this may be a little over-styled for you. This can be part of your home. We're going to break it down a little bit as well and talk about how to pare it down so that not so much is going on if you're someone who likes something a little more simplistic. I want you to take notice of the highs and lows going on in this. We've got the high roses, we step down to the dog, we step down to a plant, we step down to the bowl. So we've got all kinds of layers going on, and not everything is on the same plane. We've got objects in front and behind, the dog being the center focal point of the composition that we have going on the table. The nice fullness and color of the roses is a great contrast off of the blue, as well as off of the gold of the dog. The dog brings in nice shimmer, sculpture, and a little bit of whimsy. And then we've got the detail here, the gold being carried through again. If this is too much for you, you can par it down a little bit, but I would do a little shifting. We can do this. We can group it this way, group them all in the center, or even just do one item. That's a beautiful look as well.
So there's just a few things that you can do. The key here is to think about layers. If you're using this as a nightside table and you have a lamp on it, don't just put the lamp. Think about another layer that would add texture, interest, and maybe some color. Your choice on that, but the whole concept that we had going on was different layers of color and texture. So some of the items that we have sitting on that table, we've got one of our favorite items, our dish, our porcelain dish with titanium edge. It has the cute little handles for serving, really sweet little handles, and it's got that titanium rim all along the edge. It has an undulated surface. You can see that in the light, that undulated surface and that imperfect top. These bowls are awesome for little condiment bowls. Tonight with our meal, we had a few little pickles, and it's a nice little dish for that. It's even a nice little dish for the bathroom. You know, a nice little dish to hold your jewelry or some cotton swabs or Q-tips or things like that. This little guy is $22. It is shiny, isn't it? Really pretty. This one is trimmed in the gold finish, but also available in a silver finish as well. Inside our little dish in our photo, we've got a great compass. Now, he's kind of tossed in the dish for a little extra interest, or you could lay him on the bedside table. It does work, so it is right now. I am standing, well, I know that northwest is that way, and I know southeast is that way. So I think compasses are cool. Really pretty finish in the brass. It has a nice weight to it. And I'm trying to get, there we go, no reflection with our light. We actually have a solution to this with the ring light that you'll be seeing soon. But what do you think? Would you use something like that as decor, or would you use it just in, maybe you'd want to use it if you were out hiking or walking or something like that out in the wilderness? What would you use it for? Oh, George, you were here on Saturday and you didn't come see me. You should have. I feel hurt. I was here. I was working the boutique on Saturday. So,
did you see Laura's comment?
what did she say? I got a compass in wooden box for an anniversary a long time ago.
Ray, with a plaque that says "My True North."
Oh,
Nice?
I like that a lot, Laura. I really like that a lot. What a great idea. So the compass is $34.99. Another item that we've got displayed that gets a lot of comments, it adds whimsy, it's a piece of sculpture, is our dog riding a bicycle.
Laura says Randy could make you a box, and George says I feel hurt too. I would use it for decor.
You would use it for decor, George? Yes. And Randy could make a beautiful box. He could do his custom engraving on it for you. But I love this little guy. I love his face. He looks so happy. He's just cruising along on his bike, ears flapping in the breeze. His feet barely reach the pedals. I can just imagine him reaching and just kind of flicking his pedals with his tippy toes. I love the detail of the bike. I love the finish because it makes him stand out. It has the black metal base to him, so he's nice and sturdy. He'd be great on a table, a sofa table, a bookshelf. In this case, we used him on our accent table, and his finish pulled well with the finish of the hardware on that particular table. So always thinking about ways to tie color together. That's one of them. He pulls that color in from the handles of that table. And he is $105.99.
Now Anne says, Jan, remember every time we turn, we are going north. LOL. Yes. I have a feeling that's an inside story.
We're always going north. All right. He looks like your little pup, Trish.
So she must have a cute pup.
She does. I got to meet him.
Oh, did you? I haven't met her pup yet.
Saturday.
Oh, no. But it's not a pup. It's a big dog.
It kind of a medium. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I did see him briefly.
Yeah, because Trish was here for a brief moment on Saturday morning, and the dog was in the car with her. So, yeah, I got to meet the dog. So cute. All right. Also on this table is a beautiful...
Trish says she's medium-sized.
Medium-sized.
Like our dog. Our dog's medium-sized.
Our dog is medium-sized.
We've had our dog on the show before.
We have. Yeah. For those of you that caught that live from our house once, Jade was on screen. So we have this beautiful hand-blown glass vase, and I'm going to take these flowers out so you can just focus on the vase itself first. So I love the movement of the glass. You know, glass is a rigid surface, but the way it folds and flows at the top, I just think is really stunning. It adds great movement, it adds great texture and color. Beautifully, beautifully made. It is Italian glass, and it is $89. So the thing with this particular piece, it's beautiful all on its own, or you can fill it with botanicals. In this case, we filled it with a dozen roses, because who wouldn't want a dozen roses? I guess somebody who's allergic to a dozen roses. But if they are, you want our full ones, because oh my goodness gracious, they look so real. You think that you could just step up and take a whiff. You can see the texture on the petals. Beautiful color. I've added a sprig of fern on the top just to give it a little more height and interest. Instead of just the roses on their own, I just felt like it needed a little something else to dress it up. Oh, fern stuck in my hair. Each of the roses are $17.50, and that's for a bundle of 6. So to give you a visual on that, this is one bundle. There's one bundle of roses. Actually, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There's 9 roses in a bundle. I think that's quite a bit. You can leave them bundled up together just as is. They all are wired, and I've kind of fluffed them out from each other. Or you can cut the bundle apart and utilize them in a different way. Use them inside of an arrangement of other items. We've got spring flowers on the way, and these would be nice tucked inside of those, or even in summer flowers for that season. All right. Well, that's how we styled that particular table. Let's move on to another item. The cocktail table. What do we do with the cocktail table? First, let's look at this piece and see its awesomeness.
A great piece of furniture to tie other furniture pieces together in a space is the cocktail table or coffee table. You call it what you like. It's tomato, tomato, same thing. I call it a cocktail table. And this piece ties other pieces together in a way that if you have a sofa or a group of chairs like I have here, if they're just alone sitting on a rug, yes, the rug grounds them and ties them together, but they still kind of feel like they're floating in the space. So a cocktail table or a table in front, an ottoman, something like that, kind of pulls the group together. It doesn't just do that visually, it's also pulling things together as a useful space. With the cocktail table or side tables, you've got a place to set your glass. You have a place to set your iPad, your phone, your glasses, a magazine, a book. It's a useful space where we store things like remotes or whatever you want to store on it. I think this is a beautiful example that can be used in a multitude of spaces for contemporary, for industrial, for cottage look, for even transitional. And the reason I say that is because of the natural live edge that it is. This is a live edge table. This is a solid wood piece that you're seeing. It's a slice cut out of a tree. So there are no veneers. It is a wood slice, meaning the table that I have on the floor, it's for sale, but when it's gone, if you want to order another one, yours is going to look slightly different because it's coming from a different tree. Nature doesn't grow trees exactly the same. All right, dimensions on this piece, 48. Because it's live edge, I'm gonna measure it from its widest point, which is 25 and a half, and it stands 17 inches tall. You can see the movement going on in on the face of this. So where I measure it depends on whether it's curving in or out, but those are the general dimensions. Coming in closer and taking a look, this is done in a natural finish. So there are no stains to this. It is a natural finish, natural protectant that's been done on it. You can see how that edge just curves and swerves. We've got, you know, some people would call it imperfections. Some people would call it character. I like to call it character, where we have some things going on in the wood, but that's just part of it because it is sliced right out of the tree. On the base, we have black metal legs that crisscross in a really cool pattern. I really, really like the leg to this. I think it really makes the piece. It's almost like all of the legs are coming into this tiny little point, and this big slab of wood is resting on this tiny little point. Not the case, but that's kind of the visual that I get from it. Again, a gorgeous piece, solid live edge top with a metal base, $550, which I think is a steal looking at what you're getting. This table is very heavy, not so heavy that you're unable to move it, but it is a heavy piece. It does take a couple of sturdy people to get it in position for you, and we do delivery if you're needing a little help. Lots of character in this. Again, if this piece is gone and you want another, you're not going to get one exactly like this, but this is a great representation of what you would get. Again, I think it's beautiful, it's useful, and I think it could fit in maybe your home.
So yes, Laura, there is a lot pouring into the boutique. These new items, we don't even have the new items on the show. They arrived today, and those weren't even from Vegas. Those were items that I ordered before we broke for Christmas. So yeah, I'm pretty excited about the stuff that's coming in, and we find new places for everything. Poor Trish has definitely had her work cut out for her today, trying to find new homes and shifting things around. So Hi, Regina. Isn't this table beautiful, guys? I love the lines of it. I love the finish of it. It's heavy. It's a heavy puppy. Not one that two people couldn't move, but it's definitely got some heft behind it because it is a solid slab. It's a beautiful live edge, and I love the crisscross legs at the bottom. That just does it for me. Instead of just 4 legs or 1 pedestal in the center, I thought this piece looked really interesting, not just a table, but kind of a work of art. So when you have something like this, when you're styling it, you don't want to overdo, just enough. And a mistake that people make on some of their cocktail tables is they kind of over style. They put too much stuff on it, and it's meant to be used. Cocktail table is meant to be used while you're sitting on a sofa or chairs or anything that's near it. So in my styling video, I've got a few tips on how to declutter it and to keep it looking sharp.
When we're looking at a piece like this, cocktail table, your dining table, what have you, you've got to think, I want it to be styled and I want it to be pretty, but it's made to be useful as well. So we don't want to over style. In this case, less is more. We need to leave spaces that you can set your glasses, your objects and items that you're using. But we also want to give it a little character too. Without things resting on top, it tends to be a little boring and plain. So we do want to dress it up a bit. And what we've done here is we've created different levels and textures and color that are going on. But nothing's too vibrant or bright, just kind of keeping it mellow, so that the table itself is the big feature that we're trying to showcase here. What we've done is we've taken a tray just to elevate these items off the top of the table just a bit, and I'm going to show you the difference. First, I want to talk about why we picked this tray. We picked a wooden tray because of the wooden surface. The wood on the wood, they're about the same tone. It doesn't take away from this. It's just kind of a riser, almost like somebody popped up a piece from this up to create another layer of styling. So if I take that away, does that look okay? Yeah, sure, that looks fine. But adding that extra height just a little bit, I think made a big difference. Also, what this does is it gives a home for your remotes. This table does not have a drawer, so we need a place for the remotes to be. I talked about this a little bit in the last show. When you have a bunch of smaller items, if they're scattered about, things tend to look cluttered. But when they all have a home to go to, things look less cluttered. So if your remotes are scattered about on the table like all of these books and objects are, the table's gonna look a mess. But if they all have a home to go to, that makes a difference. So is it sexy for the remotes to be resting on this tray? Not so much, but better than scattered about, right? I mean, you can kind of tuck them behind the vase if you want to. We've also added a little bit of texture with these different colors and textures of books, and then added our little race car guy on the top for just a little fun and a little sculpture. Again, that gave a little height, it gave a little interest, it gave a little texture. These could be books that you're even reading right now. Just stack them neatly instead of scattering them about. Just a couple of tips. You don't want to overdo. That's number one. Don't overdo. Make sure you've got a home for those items that you've got to use in the TV room or the living room, but it's a home where all of them can be resting together and it doesn't take away too much. And remember, heights.
The key here is clutter-free. So clutter-free and not everything kind of scattered around. Keeping it tidy and not overdoing, not putting too much on the cocktail table. We are a kick the feet up on the cocktail table kind of people when we're sitting in the TV room. Some people would say, oh, how dare you? But I mean, that's how we relax. We kick our feet up. We set a glass. We've got our M&Ms, but our M&Ms stay in really nice canisters on our cocktail table. I mean, who else eats their M&Ms out of a crystal container? We do every night. So there's ways to still have the things out that you love, but the whole idea, the concept here is declutter and put things together. Look and sound is good. Thanks, Laura. Great. If everything has a home, if there's a place to put these items, these objects, whether they're tucked away in a drawer or if you don't have the benefit of a drawer like this particular table, you've got the little tray so that everything's nestled in its place. Books or magazines scattered, stack them up neatly. Put a little something on top of it to style it up. It's easy to remove the item and grab your book, right? It just takes a couple seconds. All right, so let's talk about some of the things that are on this table. First, let's talk about the tray. The wooden tray, I really, really like this for a couple of reasons. It gives height. Got some stuff from my botanicals on there. So I love the height that it gives. It's just a little bit of height, but it gives that extra dimension that adds interest. It has nice metal legs to it and a beautiful wood top. Really, really pretty. Simple, so it doesn't take away from the items that are on it or from the surface it's on. And this particular tray is $39. Now, I was talking in the video about how the tray kind of blended with the wood top. Is it okay for it to be a contrasting feature? Of course it is. This would also be great running in as a centerpiece for a dining table. If you needed to just elevate something a little bit, say you've got an item in the middle of the table, it looks a little low on its own, think about something to rise it up on. This is a great item, a great piece to do that with. I mean, you could use this little tray for other things as well, like, you know, lap tray or something like that. But I'm talking about decor uses for it tonight, and that's what I like using it for. On that tray, in the video, I've got these sweet little cement pots with an artificial succulent inside. Now, I love my little succulent babies. I have a whole window full of them in my kitchen. And yes, I talk to them. And yes, they are doing well, except for one. But I kind of received that one in a sorry state. So if you have a black thumb, artificial is the way to go. They do these so nicely. Well, the ones that I choose, they do so nicely. There are some pretty bad ones out there that look like plastic because they are plastic. These don't. They're plastic, but they don't look it. They look very real. I love the texture of the cement pot. It is fairly lightweight, so it's not something that's heavy or would damage the surface. And this little guy is $17.99. He adds great life. Remember, always think about adding a little greenery to each room or a little greenery in a space. It really brings it to life. On top of that tray, I also have a beautiful green vase. I'm going to take this botanical out. And I love the glazing on this. One, I love the green. I love the green. I think it's a very nice shade. And I really like the streaking of black running through the glazing. Again, you can see the light, how it's catching it. It has an undulated surface, so it's not a smooth, flat surface. There's a little bit of texture to that. And I love the scoop as well. I just think that's really interesting. Every different arrangement I've had in this, there's so many fun things you can do with that lower scoop and the wide mouth. Now it's wide but fairly narrow, so pretty easy to nestle a nice arrangement in. You could do it very simple and light, or you could really fill it up as well. It does have little foam feet, 4 little foam feet to protect the surface it's resting on so it doesn't damage or scratch. It's $36.99 and just a gorgeous piece. I've got all kinds of spring flowers on the way that would look beautiful against that green. So on top of my stack of books, and yes, we have books available at the boutique. I also have new ones coming from Vegas, but resting on top of that little stack, just to kind of finish it, I've got my little cast iron race car guy. Vroom. So he's driving his green race car, and he is cast iron, so he does have good weight to him. Nicely painted, adds just a little character. Those of you that love racing, love cars, or just love something fun for sculpture, this is a great little piece. It's only $15.99, so for $15.99, resting on that stack of books, it doesn't cost much, but it adds a little character and a conversation piece as well. Or if you have grandkids or kids of your own, it's a nice little play toy too. All right. Let's take a little break from some of our product and some of our tips, and I think it's a good time for Life Moments with James and Jen. Kicking my stand tonight. I'm sorry.
The camera stand.
I'm sorry. I don't know why. The stand has a short side and a wide side, and I usually put the wide side against the wall, and I didn't do that tonight.
That's a problem.
It is. I think I'll pay closer attention to that from now on. But got James with me.
Hello, hello.
And so, James.
Yes.
You had a busy day.
Yeah, I had a crazy day today. Yeah, it was one of those days where, you've got it all planned out at 5 o'clock in the morning when you get up and and nothing goes as planned because, just when you try to go there, then a truck pulled up today, they need to be unloaded, an 18-wheeler. And then I just finished that and about to call the customer and say, so I'm running a little late. And then a customer walks in and then it's one thing after the other. We tore out a shower at a homeowner's house today and I guess it's been leaking for about the house is 10 years old, and whoever put the tile shower in did not do a good job. And it's been leaking since day one, I think. And so floor joists were like rotting away. It was bad. So this afternoon I spent some time reframing a house, which wasn't on the schedule. And then, quick run back here and start unpacking and putting furniture up. It was a crazy day.
Yeah.
But it was a good day.
It's funny because my day exploded on me as well. It did not go all to plan.
It's just a Tuesday.
But it was all good things.
Yep.
I was thinking about it and I was like, it was a very frazzled day for the both of us for different reasons, but they were all good things.
Oh, yeah.
Except for the client's floor
But you know what? We found it at 10 a.m.
Yeah.
By 2 p.m. it had all new structured floor. The bathroom, we were able to save a bathroom floor, which was literally just floating on cement board. There was no wood underneath it. It was in rough
It's a
shape.
miracle that they didn't fall through.
I can't believe they didn't fall through.
That's good.
But we were able to restructure the whole thing from the underside, save the floor. Everybody went home happy.
Good. So we'll be sharing some more video content of us out on location kind of as projects go along. Last week you got to see one in completion, but because of the suggestions by many, we're going to be filming a little more as we go along so that you kind of see the befores, the during, and the after.
See more of what we do on a daily basis. And, sometimes it's spread out because, we're booking out about 2 to 3 months right now. So we go and look at a job and we take a video of the project and the parameters of the project, but then it might be 3 weeks later when they okay the project, and then we have to order cabinets, and that might take 4 months. And so, sometimes between when we look at the job, when we start the job, when we finish the job, it can be 4 to 5 or 6 months. It all depends. And so, so it's hard to keep the continuity of the videos going, but we're trying to find different ways to do that. Maybe a hard drive where we can download the measure video and keep it handy in a folder and wait for the whatever. We're working on that.
We are, because we think, and it's interesting to us, so we thought maybe it'd be interesting for you too.
Yeah, like what do you guys? We get comments from you guys about what else you'd like to see, and we'd love to hear from you. What else would you like to see? Our days are crazy. Today we were unloading a truck, and last Saturday I was putting new rims and tires on one of the work trucks. And I mean, we just do. Maybe
we should do a day in the life of James and Jen, where you record your day and I record my day, and we compile it together.
No, everybody would know then why I had heart trouble. That would make perfect sense to the world. Yeah. So it was a crazy day. But yeah, we'll do that sometime. We'll make it like a day in the life of the times and speed it all up so that we can fit, my 14-hour day into 12 minutes.
That'd be fun. So if you want to see more about what we do, we did post part 2 of our guest bath shower. And no, it did not take us this long to get to this point. It's actually been to that point since October, but those of you that have been watching us know that we had little happening in October and kind of
I had to pull back a little bit.
Things at a screeching halt for a little bit.
Yeah. But we have finished up the project. All we're waiting on now is the shower glass to go in. So and a little bit of paint touch up. But
right. So you've seen part 2, and part 3 we'll see it all done.
That'll be much quicker in coming. Yeah. So watch part 1, watch part 2. You can see a little bit about what we do in a project. This is a guest bath in our own house. Let us know what your thoughts are on those videos. If you'd like to see more of that kind of content, we have one group that kind of watches what we do on Tuesday nights, and a different group that watches what we do during the weekend. There is some overlap in there, but yes, it's kind of a different group of people that watch each one. But we are happy to provide the content you guys are looking for. So let us know if there's something that you figure we do in a day and you haven't seen it yet. We probably do. Just let us know.
Yeah.
Tote a camera around with us and figure it out.
Right. All right. So because of the time, I'm going to move on. But stay tuned, because at the end of the show, I've got something that's coming into the boutique that I know some of you are going to be really excited about. I know, because you asked me to bring it in. No.
Danishes?
No.
Bear claws?
Absolutely not donuts.
Cinnamon
I would not
rolls.
be able to stomach the smell. I know. I'm one of those weird people that doesn't like donuts.
Are we having like a little whiskey bar corner?
I think James needs to go back to his corner over there so we can carry on with the show.
I'm out. Enjoy the rest of the show.
But stay tuned to the end to see what's coming. All right. Let's move on to our next item.
George says I should wear a GoPro on my head, on my chest. Actually, I have a GoPro and I have the chest
French country
attachment
look going on in your home, or a transitional home. This is a great piece if you've got a wall that's tall and bare and you need to fill it, but you need to fill it in a way that it doesn't look too heavy. I think this is the perfect piece for that. For dimensions, looking at it in relation to room, I have 8-foot ceilings here, so it is quite tall, but you do still have enough space up above where it doesn't look like it's crowded. Width of the piece is 35 inches by 15.5 inches by, from top of the crown to the floor, 86 inches. I'm getting attacked by my measuring tape. So a great size piece. Now if we come in a little closer, we can look at a little bit of the detail. I love the geometry that's going on the doors, but that's also mimicked on each of the sides as well. So if the sides are exposed, you see that beautiful detail. The sides, as well as the crown, the base, and a little bit of the face is in a distressed white painted finish. The doors are stained in a dark stain with glass panels and has some nice detail of the metal going from top to bottom on the doors with the metal knobs. On the interior, we have 3 shelves, and on the bottom we have space for storing that we can tuck away those things that you don't want to see, but they need a home. I think this is a great piece. The price is $1,095. It gets many, many compliments. You've got to check this one out in person if you're local.
So a gorgeous piece. I'm seeing some of your comments about the cars, and yes, Maria, grandkids would have a lot of fun with it. No lie, I'd probably play with it too to this day. James was commenting about the GoPro. What were you saying, James?
Yeah, about the he said I should wear a GoPro on my chest.
Right.
And I'm like, I have a GoPro and I have the chest plate attachment too.
He does.
So that would be kind of fun.
Yeah, it would. So, all right. So this piece is beautiful. It's very stunning.
And Laura's got some shot glasses I need to go buy and try out, she said.
Okay.
Yeah.
James, I think, is game. But I love the finish on this. I love the stained finish on the doors, and I love that diamond pattern that's going on over the glass.
George actually pointed out we have another piece of furniture with the same hardware in the shop, and he's correct.
You are correct.
It's right over there.
Mm-hmm.
Good eye, George.
Very good eye, George. So this piece has that same hardware with the black metal and then the black metal knobs. Black trim going down the edge of the door. And I love how they carried the dimension into the side of this cabinet. The dimension that's in the door is also repeated in the patterns on the sides. So it's beautiful on all 3 sides, which I think is really interesting. So when you've got a tall cabinet like this, what do you do with it? You've got the nice 3 shelves for displaying, but then you've got that bottom place for storage. You could put baskets under there. You could put all the things that you're trying to hide away tucked into that space. So let's talk a little bit about the styling.
Now the piece is beautiful, but what dresses it up, what gives it its jewelry per se, is what we put inside. This can change the whole look of the piece. Something really simple to do in your decor choices, in your interior styling, is the objects that you pick up to utilize inside cabinets, on tabletops. We've chosen for today kind of a earthy, refined, rustic look going on in here. And I'm gonna open these up to show you. Now, when the doors are closed, you can see that I've got everything kind of centered in a pane, per se. So when I open it up, it may look a little spaced differently than I would do if they remained open all the time. If they remained open all the time, I'd probably tuck these guys more toward the center. These guys move in as well, so things aren't so spread out, and I'd probably add a couple items as well. But when those doors are closed, you can see how the duck is kind of hidden, and I've got them shifted. Voila, the duck is back in business. When you're styling, when you're putting pieces together, kind of think of a theme that you've got going on. As I said, we wanted something a little refined and rustic, kind of bringing all those earthy tones in with the greens and the browns and the blacks. With our mortar and pestle and our duck, we're bringing in the blacks and the wooden tones. To balance that, and you can see their size difference as well. They balance well together because we've got a larger object with a smaller object. It wouldn't work as well if I had those paired together. They're too similar in size, but that gives it good balance. And then in contrast, we did the botanical print to balance the dark and the light out. Same with down here. We've got some high-lows happening. I had the board by itself, but it needed a little dressing up, so I can put a lighter object in front of it and it makes it really pop and stand out. Same with down below, bringing down those green earthy tones from this vase to this baking dish and then the highs and lows of the wooden candlesticks as well. All of my items are a little deeper saturated in color because the background is very, very light. It's a white distressed paint. If I were to put a light colored object, let's use this candle as an example. If I switched these candles out to white, it's not as interesting because the white kind of disappears. So using those darker items helps with the contrast against the white background. Just a little tip for a cabinet.
So just a few tips there. Key here is kind of think about a theme. Not theme like everything in it has to be about ducks or everything has to be about baseball, or not a theme like that, but theme as in the look, the vibe that you're trying to pull off. You know, are you trying to keep it classy? If you are, then think of putting some nice refined pieces in there. In this case, we were trying to just kind of keep it casual and natural, so we were pulling different items. Trish and I were pulling different items that have more of that natural feel with color and with textures. So one great natural item that we have is this beautiful charcuterie board. This is not one of Randy's, but one of Randy's would be beautiful in there. This is a nice, sturdy, heavy board, nice and thick, you can see. Beautiful, beautiful piece for using, as well as just kind of adding a little backdrop inside of that cabinet. It just added some nice warmth on the inside against that white finish. So we've talked a little bit about this. When you've got something light, you want to do something a little darker against it. When you have a white background, do something a little darker against it to give a little contrast. It makes those items pop and stand out. That's exactly what this board did inside of that cabinet. It's $53. It does have a leather strap. So if you would like to hang the piece, you may. You'd want a nice sturdy hook that is very secure because this bad boy is heavy. Would be great resting on a countertop as well, but a usable decorative piece.
They could also be used as cutting board.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, you can use it as a cutting board as well.
Mom had a question from the sofa over there. Hello, Mom. She's actually joining us in studio tonight. For those of you that haven't figured that out yet, she's here with us.
Yes.
So, but yeah, it's great to have her here. But yeah, her question was, could you use it as a cutting board? You
and
absolutely
yes, you
could.
may.
With any piece of wood that you use as a cutting board, the knife is always tougher than the board.
Yes.
So it will, over time, wear and leave marks in it. But we also sell a cream here, Randy's Wonder Cream, that you can put on it that will rejuvenate and refresh the board.
Correct.
And give it and kind of clean up the finish.
Correct. So it won't take away the cuts, but it, that would groove into the board, but it would, as James said, refresh the finish.
Kind of like waxing your car.
And, those knife marks add a little character too. We don't need it to be perfect, right? It can have those imperfections, and that shows that it's well loved and used.
When a tradesman shows up at your house and all of his tools are brand new in the package, he's never used them before,
I'd be worried.
You get scared. So when you go to somebody's house and their breadboard has never been cut on before, well, maybe that's the first time they've had people over. You could be the guinea pig. It's something to be thinking about.
What are you trying to say, James? That if the cutting board doesn't look used, it's bad cooking?
Don't bring out a brand new cutting board because I'm going to get suspicious.
Going to make James nervous.
Yes. My mother will say it's looking a little shabby, and then it'll go on the Christmas list.
So here's a picture of that board with the flower in front of it. So we've got the board and we've got a beautiful artificial flower for inside. This is a mum in cream, beautiful big bloom, gorgeous realistic leaves going on there. Very nice piece inside a vase. They even have the artificial water on the bottom, so it looks like a stem is resting inside of that glass and that it's being watered. But alas, it is artificial, so you can put it inside of a cabinet and it will not die. It is $24, and again, just adds, I think, a nice finished look. I showed you in the video the board with and without it. With it, just adds a little extra something, and I think it styles it, it elevates the style a bit. Also inside of that cabinet, we have the wooden duck. The wooden duck pulled from the blacks, the black finish of the mortar and pestle. And there were other items that kind of staggered down into various grades of browns and blacks and greens and things like that. I love the wooden duck. I love the detail of his feathers. I love his distressed finish. He looks like a duck that came right out of an antique shop. He did not. He is a new-teak, as we call it. He has a nice little bill. And he has that hand-carved look to him. He's $18, so he adds a little bit of style for not a whole lot of money, which is nice to mix and mingle in for some of those finer pieces that you may have. The last item I'm going to share tonight is on that bottom shelf. I had a green baker. Now, these bake beautifully, and they're also just beautiful in appearance. I've got it full of artificial pears, but it's a nice deep baking dish. It's $56.99. It is Portuguese stoneware, so it cooks so nicely. Wouldn't some diced sweet potatoes or some squash or something nice and colorful, carrots, just look beautiful in this. What would you bake in it? Any suggestions? Those of you who like to bake, you could use it as a bowl as well, just for if you wanted to put it on the tabletop, you could fill it with fruit. But again, it is a very nice baker. Anybody have ideas? What would you bake? I'm trying to think of what I would bake. I'm not really sure. I have to think about it. I love to bake. I love to cook. And I love this product. I love these dishes. They really do cook nicely, nice and even, and they wash like a dream. So... all right, let's see. I've got something new that's coming into the boutique, and I'm really excited about it because it's something that I considered bringing in a couple of years ago, and it just wasn't the right time. And then James actually found somebody who was looking for a location to bring in this item. And it is fusion paint. I don't know if you've ever heard of it or ever used it, but it is a mineral paint, and it's fantastic for painting furniture pieces. I've been using another brand and I like that as well, but I really love the fusion paint. It has such rich, beautiful colors. It has metallics, it has pastels, deep color. In most cases, 2 coats and it's done. You don't even have to prime most of the surfaces. So all of the different colors of paints are going to be available here back in the kitchen area. In progress, our hutch is being refinished and in the mineral paint. So if you want to take a look and see what does fusion paint look like when it's being used, well, the cabinet that it's in is being used on it. I'm also doing my desk in my office in fusion paint, and one of our Life Moments is going to be a segment about James and my office conversion. We're both designing and in the process of creating really nice, pretty office spaces. Yes, James has an office space here in the boutique. However, Laura, you made a comment about the boutique looking very full and full of product. Yes. We are kind of busting at the seams, and so James is going to move his glorious office upstairs in the tile building again, just next door to mine. So it'll be nice to have him as my office neighbor again. It's been a while since we've had offices side by side, so it'll be nice to do that again. But we're coming up with some really cool things, and I can't wait to share that with you as well. The mineral paint, the fusion paint, will be on the shelves by this weekend. They should be on the shelves by this weekend. She's expecting shipment to arrive on Wednesday. So if it does indeed arrive as it is predicted to, then the plan is to have it on shelves by this weekend. So I'm really excited. Can't wait to share this with you. A lot of you have been asking me about this and about bringing it in. So here it is. It's coming. So stop in, check out the colors, check out the different finishes. We're going to be hosting classes in how to use these paints, painting your own piece with demonstrations and things like that. So lots of exciting things coming with that. All right. Well, James, do you have anything else to say to close us out tonight?
No, I think I'm good. I'm excited about the paint.
Yeah.
I was watching her put it on that cabinet today.
Yeah.
And that cabinet is really dark. I mean, it's a dark mahogany cabinet with a shiny finish on it. And she spent a little time yesterday sanding and priming, and then she was painting it today. And with normal paint, the more you brush it, it kind of thins it out. And then all of a sudden you're seeing the wood through again. You almost have to lay it on really heavy. The process of putting it on was amazing. She was putting it on, she's almost like working it thin, and the thinner she worked it, the better the color got. That's a really cool paint. It sticks great. Yeah, she left, and half an hour later I popped in and she had just left. It's completely dry.
Yeah, it dries
unbelievable
fast.
Yeah, what a great product. So we've done a few pieces with a different brand, but I'm really excited about this brand. It's the first time I've gotten to see this brand in use. But we're really excited about it. So Joy was just saying that she follows them on Facebook, or on Facebook, I think. Yeah, Fusion Paint. She follows them on Facebook. So that's
great.
awesome. Yeah. So yeah, did you say when it's coming?
Yes, I did.
A couple of days, right?
Yeah, in a couple of days. She's expecting the delivery to come in on Wednesday, and
She's
if
coming
it
tomorrow
does,
to put the second coat on the cabinet. And the first coat almost completely covered. Actually, there's a discussion at the office today if people like that kind of that weathered look where you see a little bit of the dark wood behind it. And I do like that look, but I also thought, the second coat would really show how well the product covers. And I think we've got some before pictures of the cabinets where frame one up and stick it in there so you can see the ultimate transformation. The problem we're going to have now is that cabinet's been sitting in here for 3 years and nobody's paid a second glance to it because it holds baked goods and whatever and for sale. People are going to want to buy the cabinet now.
People have tried to buy the cabinet unpainted, but yeah, it's
amazing looking.
Yeah.
It looks so good. Ashlyn.
George suggested building a second level on the boutique.
George?
We've talked about it.
We've talked about it. We've talked about it.
We have.
Yeah. We could spread out a little bit on the sides and the front, but going up would be a whole lot of fun. So, but elevators, escalators, I don't know. It seems a little pretentious to have an escalator in our boutique in Seven Lakes. I don't know.
We would be the first building in Seven Lakes with an escalator.
Maybe one of the first in Moore County with an escalator. So, might be a little pretentious for, being in business 4 years. We'll wait to our 7th or 8th year. And we'll put in the escalator.
For the next 20 years.
That's right. So, but anyways.
Right. Well, everybody, you have a great night. If you like what you saw tonight, make sure that you give us a thumbs up and subscribe so that you don't miss a show.
If you catch it on Facebook, please go ahead and share it there too so that people can see it. The chat room was great tonight. Just a lot of action in the chat room. We really enjoyed that. That was fun.
It. So don't forget to share in the chat what you'd like to see on another program, on another show. So.
I'll wear that GoPro anywhere. You just let me know. Yeah, guys.
Everybody have a good night. Thank you so much for tuning in and watching us tonight. We really appreciate the support. If you like what you saw, click the like button and don't forget to subscribe. If you like something you saw in the boutique or you have something you'd like to see, make sure you comment below. Thanks again for joining us, and we'll catch you next time.